Hi guys, and welcome to Discover Age of Gladiators. This is a game that came out recently on Steam. It came out on the 25th of February 2016, so this year. It is by Creative Storm Entertainment, who is basically a one-man operation who outsources some of the programming and some of the asset work to others, but basically it's a one-man studio. That's about as indie as you can get. And you know I love my indie games, and you also know that I love my military history, and Age of Gladiators obviously is a lot about military history. I have been into Gladiators almost as much as I'm into tanks since I was a little kid. Ever since I first saw Spartacus with Kirk Douglas, the movie from 1960, I have been into Gladiators. More recently I've been into, what was it, Gladiators starring Russell Crowe? Yes, awesome movie. But also the Spartacus TV series from Stars. I've been into, watched all of those twice. I've watched the entire season, or the entire series twice. I love this period of history. I love Gladiators. The basically long before boxing or martial arts or MMA, this is how the public get themselves entertained. As bloody and as awful as it can be. I'll talk about that a little bit later, but this is a game where you're running a gladiator school. I mean, if you've been into Spartacus or you've watched the TV show, running a gladiator school, that's what I was into. So, as per usual, it's a game I've been playing. I put 14 hours into this when I first bought it. Played it over 2 days, put 2 7-hour sessions into this before actually beating it. But it is very, very good, and I am really, really excited to bring it to you on the channel because, as I say, it's a period of history I absolutely love. I was going through my Steam games as per usual, looking for something different, looking for something that maybe you guys at home would enjoy as well, and I couldn't find anything, so I went into the Steam store, I had a look around. Obviously I was looking for a strategy or a management sim. This is what caught my eye. As soon as I saw Gladiators, I said, okay, this is the game for me. Single player strategy management simulator set at the height of the bloody gladiatorial games in ancient Rome. Now, that would be around, I can't remember, the game does have dates, but off the top of my head, I believe that the peak of the gladiator period of Roman history is around 100 AD. But as your fighters increase in level, it'll be up to you to decide how to forge their attributes and abilities. Okay, so it's a management sim for a gladiator school. That's almost enough to make me click buy. What made me click buy is coming down here and taking a look at the potential scenario. So this is a potential scenario. I myself have run into this scenario in game, but your school is almost out of money. You're almost broke. 2 more days and you'll no longer be able to pay your staff or gladiators, so you've got no money. There's a fight scheduled today that will draw exceptionally massive crowds, meaning the fight purse will be bountiful and the opportunity to place a large volume of bets will be high, so you can potentially make a lot of money from the fight today. But the problem is that your top fighter is fatigued from his last fight and he has a nagging shoulder strain. He also has a history of concussion, so it's fair to say he's not going to be at full strength if you put him in the arena, but he's the best you've got. The rest of your gladiators are still rookies working with your trainers and are far too inexperienced to send into the crucible just yet. This is the scenario. What do you do? The next fight is over a week away and it's not going to be a very big fight, so you can't wait that long. You're not going to be earning that much money. You're going to run out of money long before then. If you were of an evil disposition, you've got options. You can be of an evil disposition. You could execute your top fighter instead of waiting for him to get better. You could seize his life savings. And with all the fight purses he's won throughout his career, he's amassed a lot of gold, which could keep you going for a month or two, maybe more, which is something to consider. That is a scenario I run into, and I did choose to execute my top fighter, and as a result, all the morale of all my fighters fell through the floor, and they all ran away. So, yeah, that is one option you will discover in-game. But you could also, you don't have to send your fighter in, you could also, or execute him, you could also go to moneylenders to get more money, but their interest rate has been incredibly high, so it could solve the problem over the next week or two, but on the other hand, it's going to make you suffer in the long term. And then maybe, option number 3, you could send your top fighter into the arena. He's bruised up, he's fatigued, but he's also ranked 3rd overall by the experts. You know he's one of the best and might still have a good chance of pulling out a win, which could get you the money you need to get your school through to the next month. or he could lose your life and you end up losing everything. What do you do? This is what made me click that buy button, and this is the sort of scenario that you're going to run into when you play Age of Gladiators. Now, I got in touch with Creative Storm Entertainment, which is a one-man operation. Unbelievable, but Creative Storm Entertainment, who have created Age of Gladiators, is a one-man operation. I played this game, I loved it, I got in touch with them via Facebook, and I said, listen, I love this game, I think it's great, I think it's got lots of potential, I think it's something that you guys at home might enjoy watching. If you're into military history, this is the sort of game that might appeal to you. And Creative Storm were very, very happy to allow me to put it up on YouTube. And not only that, but without any prompting, without asking, they volunteered to give me 4 keys to this game to give out to you guys at home, the viewers. They are giving me 4 keys to give out to you guys. So this is a game that was released this year on Steam. It's still quite recent. As you can see, I'm on the store page. It doesn't actually. Oh, here it does. It's the game is worth $9.99 here in Europe, and I've got 4 keys to give out to you. So incredibly generous of Creative Storm Entertainment, and I'm going to be more than happy to give out the 4 keys to you guys, because you can see I own the game already. This game is constantly being updated. Here's an update from the 18th of March. Exhibition matches against beasts were added. There has been an update since I contacted Creative Storm Entertainment, since I asked them to put this game up on the channel. I haven't played it since female gladiators, long campaigns, combat stances and more. I haven't played any of this. The latest update is now live, so this game is constantly being updated. It's constantly better every time you click play, every time there's an update, and I'm very, very excited to bring it to you. So this is Age of Gladiators. I got 4 keys to give out, and how you get your hands on those keys is very, very simple. What I'd like you to do is I'd like you to watch this video, I'd like you to look at this game, I'd like you to basically, in the comments, you're going to have to make a comment to be in with a chance of winning a key, but I'd like you to say what you like about the game. Maybe if you see some areas that maybe you could see done differently or improved upon, or maybe my gameplay could be improved upon. Maybe you're familiar with the game and think I could have done something better, but I want you to make some suggestions, and I want you to basically tell me why this is a game you'd like to get your hands on, what you like about this game. Just leave that in the comments, and you're going to be entered in with a draw to win one of 4 keys to get your hands on Age of Gladiators on Steam. So enough talking, let's get into some gameplay. We're going to play now. This is Age of Gladiators, guys. You're going to be managing a gladiator school, and I think that for a one-man operation, this game is just stunning. So much potential here, but let's get into. We're not going to load a game, we're going to go into a new game, and you're going to basically see this game as I see it. Choose a name. Strabo. No, that's not Roman enough. Let's go with something, osirish, a little bit more Egyptian sounding. Okay, so what you gotta do is you gotta put in your name, you gotta choose a portrait, so you can choose a female. Oh, hit enter. You've gotta, well, it doesn't really matter, but I suppose of all these guys, maybe this guy with the goatee looks closest like me. And you've got to choose an origin, so this is the first major decision. Your name and your portrait don't really matter, but the origin does. So you can be a merchant who got into gladiator school, and what that means is you get 350,000 extra denarii when you're starting off. Now money, I'm going to put it out here because you're going to experience it if you decide to buy or win a key to this game, is that yeah, you're going to be very, very short on money earlier on, and I've learned from experience that by expanding your school too quickly, you're going to run out of money far too quickly. So merchant is possibly a way of countering that. It gives you a lot of extra money to begin with. The next option is ex-gladiator, which gives you plus 100% training XP and plus 100% coaching XP. So if you've got rookies, you want them to get trained up fast, then obviously you're going to be an ex-gladiator. The next one here is ex-scout, which is the one I usually go for, the one I actually won the game on, which is perfect fighter evaluation, because this is a management game. You don't go out and view the fighters yourselves, you've got to hire scouts to do that. Now sometimes those scouts scouts are reliable and sometimes they're not. What that means is they might promote a fighter and say this fighter is great, and then you purchase that fighter, spend a lot of money on them, and then discover that they're terrible because the scout wasn't accurate in their assessment. So it's hiring the new gladiators, hiring new fighters is very, very important in this game, especially at the start of the game. So X-Scout means that you've got perfect fighter evaluation. So no matter what your scouts tell you, you can see that the fighters or potential recruits' real statistics. So this is a very, very important one, and the one I've had most joy playing from the start. You can also have a doctor, which means that your gladiators don't get sick. A lot of the times you want to send gladiators into fight, but unfortunately they're not injured. They might be 100% fit, but they're sick, and as a result their stats are affected. So doctor means no sickness and your injury recovery is twice as quick. Then you've got showman, which means that your fighters gain fame a lot quicker. You also gain fame a lot quicker. Minus 50% reputation, plus or minus. I assume what that means is when you do something bad, your reputation doesn't take as big a hit. I'm not quite sure. The purses for the fights are plus 25%, and money is so important to this game, especially in early games, so that is a bonus. And plus 20% fight scheduling means that there are 20% more potential events to send your gladiators to. So this is potentially a very, very good one. It seems quite balanced. Finally, we've got negotiator, minus 50% purchase. So buying fighters early on is quite expensive. If you want to have a large stable of fighters, then obviously this will be a good one to get because the fighters are half as cheap. Minus 75% daily fighter cost is also incredibly good. It means you're going to be spending a lot on food for these guys. You're going to be spending a lot on shelter. Minus 50% or plus or minus 50% morale. I'm not quite sure. Maybe if you do something bad, your fighters don't lose as much morale, or if you do something good, maybe they gain 50% more morale. I'm not quite sure what the plus or minus here is for, but yeah, so you've got a lot of choices here. I'm going to go with X-Scout because I think learning which fighters are good or bad rather than relying on anyone else to tell me is very, very important to begin with. But you can play it lots of different ways. Choosing an origin is completely up to you as to how you decide to play the game. It also means that there's a lot of replayability. You know, you could choose one of these and the game would play out a lot differently. Obviously, if you picked Showman, 100% fame and reputation, then you're going to get famous a lot quicker. If you pick X-Gladiator, your fighters are going to be a lot better, a lot quicker, and maybe you could get through the game quicker. So there is a lot of replayability depending on your origin. Game options, we've got Iron Man. Yeah, I have not gone for Iron Man yet, but game will not automatically save after each battle and turn. So yeah, you have to manually save, I assume, under Iron Man. Long campaign is new. That means that bosses in each city own more fighters and recruit more frequently. So long campaign is a new addition to the game. In the last update, I haven't played the long campaign either. I'm looking forward to. Economy is strong. State of economy governs how much money is available for fight purses and betting. So poor, average, strong. You can set this up how you like. I'm going to have strong because more fights equals more money. Female gladiators, why not? Why not? Let's check out this new update with female gladiators. So you've got fighter transactions. That means that trading, purchasing, and selling gladiators with enemy, well, it says enemy bosses here, but basically that is rival gladiator schools is enabled. So you can trade or purchase or sell gladiators amongst yourselves. You've got player perks, which are very, very important. We'll get into that when it happens during the game. You've got side quests. So not only are you interested in training gladiators, but occasionally side quests pop up that maybe allow you to get a legendary weapon or allow you to steal a fighter from an enemy gladiator school, or maybe even just help them escape, weakening the rivals. And you've got death messages, so you've got cause of death messages are enabled, so it tells you why your gladiators lost or died. So let's go with X-Scout, economy strong, female gladiators, and we're gonna go. So we've got 5 messages. Now, I was going to say emails, but obviously emails didn't appear back then or didn't exist, so I suppose this would be, I don't know, stylus? I have no idea. But, okay, March the 1st, we've got the first messages approved. I'm pleased to announce that your application for sponsorship of fighters into your gladiatorial games has been approved. Hire your fighters, manage your coins smartly. That I didn't pay enough attention to that when I first started playing. Manage your coins smartly, or you'll find little mercy in in this endeavor. Okay, so cleaning house. If you ever find yourself in financial trouble, the unthinkable does exist. Executing your fighters or staff or seizing their life savings, it could make you rich and hated. That's important. First steps. Your first order of business will be finding some fighters for your stable. You need to hire scouts for that. So depending on their networking skills, now this is really important. The bigger a scout's network is, the more fighters they're going to present to you for recruitment. So you really want to hire some scouts with good networking, and because you're an ex-scout yourself, their ability is not that important, but their network is. You'll need to check on the calendar in your office for upcoming matches. On the day of a scheduled fight, you'll be allowed to enter the arena. We'll get to that in a moment. Weapons. You have weapons for sale at the marketplace, so you have to buy weapons for your fighters. Remember, your fighters don't come equipped. You've got to buy them weapons. You've got to equip weapons with them, and not only that, but weapons degrade. Weapons do degrade, so you can take a 100% spear into the arena and then have it, you know, down to 60% after the fight if it was a particularly tough fight. Same with armor. You can give your gladiators armor, but on the other hand, you can only basically give your gladiators armor if they're trained in the use of that armor. Otherwise, the armor is more of a hindrance than a positive. So that's the first thing. So armor, weapons need to be purchased for your fighters, but we don't have any fighters. Let's take a look at the calendar, and there are lots and lots of fights this month, and unfortunately, what this means is hype means low. The first fight is going to be on the 2nd of March. Third fight is on the 3rd of March. But unfortunately, I don't have any fighters. And if I hire fighters, they're going to take 3 days to arrive. So I'm going to miss out on the opportunity of putting my fighters into the first fight and the second fight. And these are low and average. Then we're hitting, this is a really bad start to the game. There's a lot of RNG. There's a lot of randomness involved in this game, guys. So there are 4 more fights, which would normally be great this month. But unfortunately, they're all strong, which means that enemy bosses will usually assign their best fighters to highly hyped matches. So I don't have any best fighters. This could be an absolute disaster, guys, but we're going to go anyway. So we're going to go, first thing we need to do is we need to hire some scouts. So we're going to go down to staff, and we're going to hire some scouts. Now, remember I said that network was the most important thing. Because I've chosen ex-scout, the evaluation is not important, but the network is. And the big guy with the biggest network is Lucullus, and we're going to hire him. So we're going to make use of his network. And the next highest network is maybe Mergus, so we're going to hire him. But I'm not too fond of Mergus. His network is not that big. We've got trainers. Now, normally when it comes to hiring anyone, doctors, you know, it's very easy to expand too quickly unless someone is absolutely amazing. And what we have is an absolutely amazing doctor here. Normally I wouldn't hire a doctor because money is very short to begin with, but any of the staff members who have over 400 on both stats is worth hiring. They're good staff members, so we're going to hire Cicero. And I'm wondering if that is the Cicero of fame, famous Cicero. Okay, it doesn't matter. Moving on, blacksmiths. Again, blacksmiths completely pointless. I don't have any weapons. I don't have any armor, and this guy is so good. But I'm not going to be hiring a blacksmith right now. I need to look after my money. Trainers. What trainers are available? Well, we've got training and we've got coaching. Now, training provides an XP bonus to your fighter after each day. So your trainer or your fighters are going to improve an XP even if they haven't been fighting. That's just training. By training, they're going to gain XP. Now, coaching is slightly different. Coaching provides a XP bonus to your fighter after each battle. So your fighters need to actually fight in order to basically make use of this particular coaching ability. So I think we're going to stick with focus on the training. We're going to hire this guy. 496 is awesome. 304 is not so great, but we're going to hire him anyway. So we've hired 2 scouts, we've hired 1 doctor, and we've hired a trainer, which is usually more than I recruit, more staff than I recruit. So if we go back to staff, you can see them all here, and no smithy, no armor smith yet. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the stable, and you can see we've got no fighters. So we're obviously going to have to recruit fighters. We can also upgrade upgrade our stable, but we don't want to waste unnecessary money. We're down to 68,000, and that may seem a lot, but it's not. It's not. We're going to go into the recruitment screen, and because we've got 2 scouts with 2 networks, you can see that this guy had over 400 in his network score. That means he gets slightly more fighters showing up than the second scout, Mergus. But we're going to take a look at Lucullus, and we're going to see what we have. Now, by experience, the best particular stat is usually to begin with is dexterity. So what we've got is a guy who has pretty good intelligence, good dexterity, good agility, good stamina, good strength, and his, unfortunately, reflexes are quite low, but reflexes are something that can be trained. Now, on the other hand, he's a good fighter, and he's also the most expensive fighter up here, so we're going to hire him, and it's going to cost us a lot of money. So that's pretty much all we can tell. Now, every fighter has hidden statistics as well, but we're going to hire that guy, and we're going to take a look. Maybe we can hire another fighter. I don't really like the look of any of the fighters here. This guy has very poor intelligence, very poor reflexes, and he's basically Bs everywhere else. So I suppose this guy would not be terrible as a second fighter, but I'm really not seeing anything else I like up here. Bs and Cs, 1D. Yeah, not seeing anything. Let's go to the other guy. Let the other scout. Now, the other scout, his network isn't quite as big, but yet he's got someone here. He's got reflexes, dexterity, intelligence isn't too bad, agility, stamina is terrible, but he's strong. This guy is strong, so we're going to hire this guy. Another expensive hire, 8,500, and you could see that our money is very, very quickly disappearing. And remember, I'm going to have to pay wages both to the gladiators and to my 5 staff members. I'm already regretting getting 5 staff members. Let's take a look here. We've got B under intelligence, C under dexterity. No, I'm not interested in these guys. So we've only got 2 fighters. That's quite poor. I usually run with about 4 fighters, maybe 5 fighters. Yeah, okay, let's hire Tyus. We've got 3 fighters. Okay, so that's it. I don't want anyone else. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go into staff, and I'm going to fire Mergus, because otherwise he's going to cost me 379 a day, and his network is not big enough. So we're going to fire him to save myself money, and we're going to keep Lucullus because his network is quite big. Alright, so let's take a look at our stable now, and what you can see is we've got Kosis, Yuphatran, and Tyus all in transit. They all arrive in 3 days, so we're going to go in here and we're going to view them, even though they haven't arrived yet. And what we've got is I thought we could change, according to the website, we could change their images or their portraits. We can change their name. You know what? Let's do this. Let's do this. Some of you guys might recognize this name, but there we go. Bringy. Alright, so Bringy's going to be arriving in 3 days. So what have we got? We got 60 for strength, 47 for stamina is not good. Agility, reflexes are terrible at 12, wow. Dexterity is 57. Now these stats can be maxed to 150, so this guy's got a lot of work to do, but his health is okay. At the moment his attack is 60, his hit chance, yeah, okay. So all of these need to be taken into account, and you can see here that his weapon speciality is a Pugio or a Pugio. Now, a Pugio is a short dagger. It is a dagger, so no sword, it's a dagger for this guy. So I'm going to need a Pugio. Oh, and this guy also uses a Pugio, so Yuphatran. Let's just keep this. Let's just keep this. Stick with names you guys might recognize. So a lot of people don't know you can actually change the names on these guys. I thought you could change the portraits, but obviously not. We've got Tanza. Tanza is going to be. Tanza looks okay on strength, okay on reflexes, okay on dexterity. Terrible intelligence and terrible stamina. We're gonna have to work on your stamina, Tanza. Again, he uses a dagger. So Pugio is a very, very common short Roman dagger. It doesn't sound great, but it's one of the few weapons choices in the game. And finally, we've got a big bearded guy in Tyus, who's obviously Germanic of some sort, judging from his profile picture. And we've got attack. Okay, he's got a 43 attack, and he's got a 19% chance of actually hitting anyone every time he swings his whatever weapon it is. It's a Gladius! Oh, okay, so I'm happy someone has a Gladius. Gladius is a Roman short sword, so therefore Gladiator is Roman for swordsman. So Gladiator means is Latin for swordsman, and it comes from Gladius, which is the Roman short sword. So I'm happy someone is using a Gladius. So we need 2 Pugios, and we need a Gladius. So what we're going to do is, as you can see, they've got no weapons, no armor. We need to go to the market. So these guys are still in transit, but I might as well prepare. Now, what we have here is a Facina. What you can see is different weapons available in the marketplace. So we've got a Facina. Now, a Facina is the trident. Remember, if you've watched Spartacus, you have guys running around with tridents and nets to represent the fishermen. Well, that's what a Facina is. It's basically the trident. The Hasta is a spear. It's just a basic spear that you don't throw. It's kind of a cross between a spear and a quarterstaff. It's used for thrusting and for using as a quarterstaff. The Lancia, obviously, is Latin for lance, and it's basically a short javelin or a very short spear that can be thrown, or it can be used for thrusting as well. So sometimes what they would do is they would basically tie the Lancia to their wrist and be able to throw the Lancia and then be able to retrieve it after throwing it. We've got the Pugio, which is a very short dagger that 2 of my guys are using. So I need Pugios, and this one does 90 damage, and it's quite expensive. Oh, my money is disappearing. 2 of my guys use Pugios. Now, this one is a terrible Pugio. It only does 30 damage, but it's cheap. Well, it's cheaper, but I need 2 Pugios, so we're going to purchase that one as well. Then finally, what we say, oh, we needed a Gladius, and the Gladius is a bad Gladius, and it's expensive. Oh, but it's the only one here. Now, the weapons are random, and they will reappear every 10 days, so I think I'm going to need a Gladius anyway. So, spending money on bad weapons, but I've got no choice. Facina, Hasta, Lancia, what else is here? So then we've got a Sicca. Now, some of the fighters use Siccas, none of mine do yet, but yeah, that's another short sword. So the Gladius is basically a straight, short Roman sword. The Sicca is a curved Roman sword, kind of like the weapons the Moors used around that time period. So it's basically another short sword, but it's got a curved blade. Hasta we've covered, Sicca, and then the Lancia. So all the weapons here have been covered. Now, what I do find, or what I have found, is that a lot of the weapons that gladiators traditionally use aren't actually in the game yet. Now, this weapons page may seem to be quite limited. The number of weapons available for your fighters seems to be quite limited. And to be perfectly honest, it is. There are a few more weapons that aren't appearing here that fighters do use that appear in the shop occasionally, but there are a huge number of gladiator weapons that aren't represented in the game yet. And this is what makes me, I'm not criticizing, but this is what makes me even more happy for the future of this game, because it means that this game has a lot of room for expansion. And there are a huge number of very famous weapons, gladiator weapons, that aren't in the game, such as the casting net is not there. What is it? I can never pronounce this, but it's the Eculum. Eculum is the casting net gladiator weapon, usually used with the Facina. You've got Parmulla, which is shields. Shields haven't been implemented into the game yet, as far as I know, even though a lot of the artwork depicts shields. That is somewhere else that the game can go as regards its potential. The Pilum is a very long, it's almost like a lance as opposed to a short spear or javelin. That is missing. A Pilum is a very famous gladiator weapon that isn't in the game yet. And there are lots and lots more. You've got a Pugnum, which is, you know those wrist shields? It's a small shield that goes over someone's wrist, but it's got a spike attached to it. Is another very famous gladiatorial weapon that seems to be missing from the game as yet. So there's plenty of room for expansion as regards the weapons. But we're going to move on. Armor. Again, you can choose armor, and it works exactly the same way as the weapons in the merchants. Lots of armor, and it goes from hide, which is obviously leather, I assumed, but it also has leather here. I suppose animal skin versus treated leather. You've got studded armor, you've got mail armor, and you've got plate armor, and again, it's expensive. But on the other hand, none of my fighters are trained to use armor at the moment. I haven't trained them, so no point in actually buying armor. And also in the market, what you can do is you can get a loan. So what we can do is we can get a loan of 88,000 denarii for 10% interest over 74 days. That's actually okay. That is actually okay, but I don't actually need money at the moment. So that's us done in the market. Recruitment is done. Let's take a look at the office, and we've got fights. So what we're going to do now is we've got the journal that tells us what's been happening on this day, March 1st. It keeps a record of all my actions. We've got the ledger, which basically shows me how much everything is costing me a day. So I've got 44,000 denarii in my bank account, and at the moment, everything that I've got is costing me 1,778 a day. We've got the past. I've got no past fighters. We're just starting. No Hall of Fame fighters because it's a new game. And we've got 3 enemy bosses. I forgot to show you this. So what we are is we're in Utica at the moment. And Utica is on the outskirts. We're basically level 1 as regards gladiatorial contests. So when we complete or finish doing our job in Utica, we can move on to the next station before moving on to the next place before moving to Rome. So again, lots of room for expansion. At the height of the Roman gladiatorial games, there were over 4,000, 4,000 gladiator arenas. That's just arenas. That's not schools. There would be tens of thousands, 20s of thousands of gladiator schools, but at the height across the Roman Empire, there were over 4,000 gladiator arenas in existence at the same time. So the fact we've only got 4 here means, again, more room for expansion. But moving on, bosses, we can take a look at the bosses, we can speak to the bosses. I don't really want to speak to anyone, but what we can do is we can actually view their stables. And what we can see here is the first guy. He is Asina. He's got 11 fighters and the average level is 1. We've got Labio, who's got 12 fighters, the average level is 3. And we've got Blasis, who's got 11 fighters, the average level is 6. So we can view the fighters, and what we can see here is none of these guys really scare me. You know, they've got level 5, record 7 fights, 1 defeat. You know, a lot of rookies, 1-1, 3-1, 4. Nothing really there scares me. Let's take a look here. Again, the stats wise, nothing scares me too much, but he has got one guy on 6-0. And then we'll take a look at the third guy. Anyone here scares me? Not really. This guy is pretty weak in his strength and stamina. He's got very good dexterity though, and record 7-1. So to be honest, no one here really fears me. But then again, I've only got 3 fighters, and my 3 fighters are 0-0. So that's pretty much it. All I can show you. So we might as well just end the turn now. As I say, from my stable, you can see that these guys don't arrive for 3 days, and that's going to be too late to take part in these fights against inexperienced fighters, rookie fighter fights. So we'll end, and Bringi is in transit to the stables. Tanza is in transit to the stables, and Diaz is in transit to the stables. I just forgot. Let's view. Let's change him. I forgot to change his name. Alright, we've got Beyond D. Okay, he's my 3rd fighter. Alright, so we go back to the office because there's absolutely nothing I can do. My fighter's en route to the stables. We'll end turn. And we've missed that fight. We're missing the next fight. And now my fighters should be in the stables. They're all healthy. They're all ready to go, and you could see that you can raise their salary, but why would I want to raise their salary? So instead what I want to do is I want to keep morale. At the moment they're content, but I have no prison, I have no guards. I can upgrade my gladiator school on this screen. So there are 6 options to upgrade. Now, capacity is regards the number of fighters you can have, and at the moment, as I say, the biggest problem is expanding too fast, too quickly. I've already down to less than half of what I started with money-wise, so I don't want to increase the capacity beyond 5. Each of these bars is 5, and if I were to increase, it would cost me 5,000 to increase it to 10 fighters, and then an extra 200 a day. So huge expense to increase the capacity of my school. So we'll just keep it at 5 fighters at the moment. I've only got 3 benches full. Now, food is an important, really important part of Gladiator. A lot of people don't realize this, but gladiators were fed incredibly well. Gladiators, actually, the gladiator schools hired famous dietitians to feed their gladiators, to make sure that their gladiators were getting fed properly. They got an incredibly good meal or diet compared to the average Roman citizen. They got their fruit, they got their grains. In fact, they believe it or not, ate ash every day because they believed it made the body stronger. So these professional dietitians of the time made sure that the gladiators were well fed, because training was incredibly hard. They needed to be well fed to keep up their energy reserves. But the other thing that a lot of people don't realize about gladiators of the time was that gladiators were often fat. Gladiators were usually overweight, compared to athletes of, our time, of this time now. But that wasn't unintentional. A fat gladiator could be strong. A fat gladiator had fat for a reason, and that was because if they were fighting an opponent who had a slicing weapon, for example, a sword, the fat would protect maybe their muscles. They'd have a layer of fat over their muscles, so their muscles would be protected. The fat offered more protection. If they were fighting opponents who had daggers, like the Pugios I've just mentioned that two of my fighters use, the Pugios could stab into a gladiator, but if the gladiator was fat enough, the Pugio or the dagger would not reach vital organs. So being fat as a gladiator was actually a bonus, and a lot of gladiators were fat. Something that a lot of people don't realize. But moving on, you don't get that from the movies where they're all toned and all well muscled. So food is incredibly important. Now, to upgrade food is going to cost me 4,000, but I think it's worth it. So we've gone from slop to grain. Now let's upgrade again to bread. And I'm running out of money, but let's upgrade again to fruit and meat. 800 a day is what's going to cost me to feed these guys. So food keeps my guys happy. Food keeps my fighters happy, but meat is very important. Moving on, sleeping. And again, we can improve their sleeping. Now, none of this is regarding security. So you've got two choices. You could go for negatives. You could go for increasing the prison from everything up to cells. And that means that it's very, very hard for your gladiators to escape. And then you don't need to worry about morale as much if you've got them extremely well chained up at night. You can also increase the number of guards, so you could have them very, very well contained in cages, in chains, and have a lot of guards. But it has a huge effect on the fighters' morale. Or you can choose to keep them happy by giving them good sleeping arrangements, shelter, and sleeping. Now, I think I've actually made a mistake, because normally I only increase these by 1 when we're beginning, but we've upgraded our sleeping arrangements to straw instead of them sleeping on the ground, and we've upgraded our shelter to a straw roof. So we're down to 15,000. As I say, I shouldn't have upgraded this so much, but I was showing you. It's okay. It's a playthrough. I'm not taking this that seriously. So yeah, you can take a couple of different approaches. You could be very, very heavy-handed, have a lot of guards, have a lot of chains, a lot of cages. Your fighters will constantly be unhappy. They'll be rebellious, trying to escape, but you don't have to worry about their food or their lodging. On the other hand, you can ignore guards and ignore cages and hope your gladiators stay there of their own volition. But anyway, moving on. We've got 3 guys, and they are currently in my stables. They're currently being trained. What we're going to do is we're going to go to the office. We've got nothing I can do. 10 days haven't passed, so I can't go to the market. As you can see, new merchandise in 7 days. I can't recruit anyone else, new fighters in 12 days, so nothing I can do except end turn. So we're going to end turn, end turn, end turn. Now I've got a very, 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 very big choice here, because we come to our stable. I've got 3 healthy fighters, but on the other hand, they've received absolutely no training. My money is down to 6,000, and this is a scenario I was talking about. Now I'm running out of money, and if I don't fight, I'm going to go broke. And if I go broke, I can't afford to pay my fighters, I can't afford to pay my staff, and those expensive people I hired at the beginning are going to leave. So I've got no choice but to send someone into combat. So what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to send the guy with the highest dexterity, although he has no stamina. You know what, Bringy, you're going to carry this for me. So we're going to look at Bringy in here, and then we are going to take a look at his weapon speciality is Buyo. Okay, we're going to give him a Pugio. So we've got weapons, we've got no armor, we've got the good Pugio, we're going to give that to Bringy. So now he's doing 100 attack, or 150 attack. So if he's fighting barehanded, he only does 60 attack. Now he's doing 150 attack every turn. He's only got a 28% chance of hitting the enemy because he's not very good. He's received no training. And unfortunately, we haven't got any available points because he hasn't been in my stables long enough to upgrade. So, yeah, okay. Bringy, you're going to be carrying this dude. I have no idea what sort of guy he's going to be fighting, but we'll see. While we're here, we might as well equip the other guys. So we've got a Gladius for Beyond, and we've got another dagger for Pugio. Now, one thing that the game could do, I know that the developer is planning on changing portraits and introducing new graphics and everything else. What I would love to see is maybe the image of the Gladiator actually adopting the weapon. So if I, remove the weapon here, remove the weapon. He has no weapon. When I give him a weapon, I would love to see that weapon appear in his hand. Now, this guy looks as if he's wearing armor, but as you can see, I've got no armor equipped. So I would love if the portraits actually reflected the armor and the weapons that the gladiators were using. But yeah, here we go. This is it. I'm stuck. I've got absolutely no choice. Bringy, you're going to be fighting, and it is strong. And what strong means is that the enemy will usually assign their best fighters to highly hyped matches. So this Bringy, who is a complete and utter novice, is going to go up against one of the enemy's strongest bosses. Now, this is where the recruiting or the scouting happens, because what I can do is I can go to bosses, and I can take a look at this guy, Asina. Now, as you can see, a couple of fights have gone by, and the average level of this guy's fighters have gone from 1 to 2. These guys' fighters have gone from 2 to 3. So these guys have leveled up their fighters because while my guys were still in transit, these guys were fighting, training, and getting experience. We're going to take a look at this guy, and we're going to take a look at his strongest fighter, who is pretty flaming strong. This is a guy whose average level is level 2. This guy is fairly strong compared to Bringy. Let's take a look. This guy, okay. This guy, even though he's technically tougher than Asina, Labio is tougher than Asina. His top fighter doesn't look as good as Asina's top fighter. Let's take a look at Blasis. Blasis' top fighter is okay as well. Okay, so we're going to try and take on Labio here. We're going to go back to the office. We're going to enter, and we're going to select Labio. Actually, before I do that, what was Labio's top fighter? Oh, management games. You spend more time looking at spreadsheets than you do. It is a guy called Pizzo. Okay, so we're going to select this guy. Day has come and a new battle is upon us. And the attendance for this match is almost 7,000 people, and the purse is 33,000. So I've only got 6,000 denarii left. I really need to win this. So what we're going to do is we're going to choose Bringy, who's got the good sword, who's got no armor. We're going to select him, and he's going to be fighting not Pizzo. Bringy has apparently got a 2-1. Apparently he's fought elsewhere before. He's got a 2-1 record. He's fighting a 1-2 guy who is not the top fighter from that guy's stables. Okay, so here we go. Share purse with your fighter. Bringy's greed level is medium. Your fighters have greed levels, so apparently Bringy is quite greedy. Morale will decrease by 10 if I don't share at least 20% of this fight purse with Bringy, his morale is going to decrease. But it's early on. We have to share quite a lot of this fight purse with him, so we're going to be sharing 30% of the fight purse with Bringy in order so his morale will not change. So maybe we can do something about that. Now, are we going to place any side bets? So unfortunately, we're going to risk it all, guys, because Calidus, I have no idea. Didn't look at his stats. I thought I was going to be fighting Pizzo, but nope. Okay, so we're going to bet all our entire fortune on a side bet here. So Bringy, you better win, or else this is going to be a very quick game. And I hope we win the side bet. So we're going to continue. I've given you a good weapon, Bringy. And this is the other new thing I have not seen before. This was added in the last update, combat stances. So aggressive means your gladiator will receive 25% bonus to damage and plus 25% to damage received. So receiving damage is going to be bad. We've got normal. Gladiator will receive no bonuses to either damage or defense, and then we've got Defensive, your gladiator will receive a minus 20% bonus to damage and a minus 20% to damage received. So he doesn't do as much damage, but he doesn't receive as much damage. And then you've got the option to spare life. Now, this is an option that was available quite a long time during the gladiatorial period. Now, of course, when I say for quite a long time, the gladiators were in action for nearly 1,000 years. The first recorded gladiators were around 300 BC, and they stayed in action right up till about 600 AD. So gladiators were around for over 1,000 years, which is pretty amazing to consider, you know. But for a long period of that, there was the time when usually gladiators or buying slaves was either expensive or there was a shortage of good gladiators. And what often happened was that games imposed a strict rule that says that you were not allowed to kill the enemy gladiators because gladiators were considered expensive, too expensive to replace. There weren't enough people to replace them. So what actually happened was if a gladiator was actually accidentally killed in one of those scenarios, then you had to pay a very, very large fine to the gladiator school of whose gladiator you killed by accident. So quite often the fine was bigger than the prize purse. Anyway, instruct your gladiator to spare the opposing gladiator if beaten. Can still be executed due to crowd opinion. So even by putting a check mark in here, if I wasn't sure about winning this fight, I could put a check mark in here and maybe there's a small chance Bringy would be allowed to live if he dies against Calidus. But yeah, Bringy, sorry dude, nope. No spare life in this particular issue or case, because what I actually want to do is I want to beat the fighters of the opposing houses, the opposing schools. You have to beat all three trainers, enemy trainers, in each location before being allowed to move on to the next one. So I actually do want my guys to kill them, as callous as that sounds. But we're going to fight. And as I say, this is a management game, so don't expect any arcade graphics here, guys. So here we go. We're going to let it play on ×2 speed. And what you can see is my stamina getting bigger, getting smaller, my health. Oh, Bringy's health has already taken a huge hit. He must have taken a huge hit at the start of this game. There's a very good chance I'm going to lose this. And this guy's health is not falling at all. Well, it's just fallen now. Bringy managed to land a hit. Bringy's just managed to land another hit. This guy, Calidus' health is down to 70. Come on, Bringy! Bringy did it. Calidus is defeated. And we're going to review the fight, and you can look at the turn 1, turn 2, turn 3. It goes on for ages. This was quite a long fight. It went up to page 5. Wow. So it got to 36 turns. So Bringy is at 162 health. He was almost half killed. He was half killed. And we're finished. So, and he did manage to kill the enemy gladiator. So what we did was we earned 23,000 denarii from that particular fight. Unfortunately, it would have been a lot more, but I had to share nearly 10,000 with Bringy because he's a greedy git. And we won 3,000 inside bets. So we're going to leave, and now our money is looking a little bit more healthy, but still not healthy enough. And what you can see here now is that Bringy is injured. He is injured for 10 days and he is fatigued for 11 days, so he cannot fight for the next 11 days at least. He also can't train while he's injured, and that means that he's not going to be gaining any training XP. That's really annoying. Okay, moving on. So we come up to the office. We've won our first fight. Woohoo! And we're going to move on. So we're going to end turn. And nothing scheduled for the 8th. And the 9th, and do I want to fight here? Do I want to fight? You know what? It doesn't matter. I'm not taking this seriously. We're going to fight again, and we're going to take a quick look at our stable, and we're going to take a look at Tonza, who is not leveled up. He is not leveled up at all. These guys still haven't. You can see the XP is only at 471 out of 2,000. He needs to level up to level 2 before getting any XP to spend. So he's also using a Bugio, but I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to go back to Bringy. I'm going to take his weapon from Bringy, which was 100%, now it's 90%, and we're going to give that to Tonza, and we're going to have Tonza fight a battle. So let's go to not the market. It's not time for new weapons, new merchandise in 2 days. We're going to go to office, we're going to enter, and we're going to fight Labio again. And we're going to fight with Tonza. And no armor, but he is using the good weapons. So we're going to select. Oh, and he's up against Quadratus, so no Piso again. Okay, so, oh no, Tanza's greed level is high. Oh, Tanza's greed level is high. Oh dear, I'm gonna make almost nothing. Gonna make almost nothing from this fight. I'm sharing almost half of it with Tanza. Alright, but we can bet a lot of money on the side. I don't want to bet all of my money, because if Tanza loses, then I'm going to lose a lot of money. So what we're going to do is we're going to bet around 8,000. There we go. So around a third of my current bank account. You can also bet on enemy fighters. Now, if you think your fighter is going to lose, you can bet on the enemy fighter. The thing is, if you do bet on enemy fighters, your fighters lose morale very, very quickly, because basically you're betting on the enemy to kill your own guy. So not usually a good idea unless you're sending a rookie in and you've got absolutely no choice, sending a rookie in against an experienced fighter, but you need the money incredibly badly. So we're going to fight, we're going to bet. And come on, Tanza. So we're going to have normal stance. He's up against Quadratus, age 29 versus age 32. Tanza is a 0-0 first time he's fighting. Quadratus is 3-3, so he's a little bit more experienced. Tanza's strength is higher. And this new outlay means that I can't see the stamina. Tanza had really bad stamina to begin with, so something's wrong with the update in that it's not showing stamina on this page anymore, but that's not that big thing. This guy's stamina is definitely higher than Tanza's. I think Tanza's is something like 12, but it's not that high at 30. This guy has far more agility. He's got less reflexes, but they're still pretty close. He's got much less dexterity. And Tanza's a monster as regards health. Okay, our weapon is better, our attack is much higher, and both of us are using no armor. So let's go. Oh, come on. Oh, we've landed our first hit. No, he landed the first hit on Tanza. Tanza's down to 530, so now the health is even closer. No, Tanza's down to 433. Oh, Tanza's stamina is coming back to hurt him. At least Tanza's landed a hit. Tanza's got him down to 292. Oh, he's got him down to 134. You can do it, Tanza. I know you can. Come on, mate. Now, of course, you can skip this if these guys have just been swinging at each other like two old ladies in a pillow fight. So they're not hitting each other. So let's just skip. We finished the fight, and we won. And not only did apparently Tanza spared his life, but the crowd was bloodthirsty. The losing fighter is executed. So Tanza has now won his first victory in a game, 23 fame and 359 XP. But he's uninjured, but he's fatigued, so we're going to leave him. So Tanza is now fatigued for 6 days, and that just leaves Beyond D. And you can see that the morale of my guys, I'm giving them plenty of good food. They've got decent shelter. They've got decent bedding. They're not rebellious. None of these guys are about to turn into Spartacus and rebel against me, so they're happy. When fighters from a school win, then the rest of the fighters improve. So there we go. We are ready. Let's go back. There's nothing else I can do. No weapons, no new fighters for some time. We're going to end turn. And we've got another strong fight. We're going to have to lose one of these eventually, but you know what? Beyond D, we're going to select Labio again, and we're going to select Beyond D, and Beyond, I believe in you. So your greed level is low. I like you, Beyond, already. And we're fighting Piso, who happens to be their best fighter. Oh, this is not good. This is not good. This is not good. So, yeah, I'm going to let you, dude, if you win. Let's see now. His greed level is low. Morale will not change. So yeah, I only need to share 20% of this purse with him, and his morale is not going to change. I'm not going to be placing any money on Beyond D because I want him to surprise me. I want him to surprise me, but he's fighting the top fighter. I was wondering when this guy was going to make an appearance. He's going to be fighting the top fighter from the other stable, but Beyond, I believe in you. Okay, I do believe in you, because, yeah, you're stronger. I have no idea what your stamina is because this is blank, but you've got more agility. Your reflexes are terrible. You've got terrible dexterity. Oh, this is a loss. Look at the health. Oh, no, 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 no. Let's go for spare life, please. All right. Okay. All right. I can't watch this, guys. All right. Well, they're hitting each other. Beyond's got him down to 335. And we're going to... Oh, I can't watch this. Skip. Who won? Who won? Who won? Beyond, I love you, dude. I do love you. I can't believe you just won that fight, but I should have put money on you. Apparently, I've picked up critical injuries. Now, this is another thing you've got to keep an eye on, and he's fatigued. So he's picked up critical injuries. That means he's injured for 25 days. So we're going to view. He's injured for 25 days, and we're going to take a look at his history. He killed Pizzo. And this Pizzo was the strongest fighter from that other stable, and Beyond not only killed him, but he wrecked him. But oh dear, not only did Beyond wreck him, he wrecked himself. So even though he pulled out a close victory, he picked up a shoulder sprain, a fractured leg, and a crushed kidney. Ow, 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 ow. Now, what that means is it's going to affect Beyond D's stats. You know, see how low his stats have gotten because he's injured. And it means that, you know, these injuries, critical injuries, have a huge effect on Gladiators over time. So Beyond D is pretty much wrecked now. He's going to progress at a much slower pace, I believe, than, you know, a fully fit Gladiator, and I don't know if his stats are going to be permanently affected, but he's going to have to get better before we find out. But yeah, okay, that's it, nothing else I can do. Now, all three of my guys, as you can see, are either fatigued or injured, and there's still one more fight this month. We're up to 71,000. Who is just fatigued? Tanza. You know what, I might, just to show you guys. So Tanza is fatigued, but what we're going to do is we're going to enter Tanza again, and we're going to send him against Labio. Now, he's fatigued, and that means his stats are not as high as they would normally be because he's fatigued. But I believe in Tanza, but he's a greedy bugger. He really is a greedy bugger. Let's go. I believe in you, Tanza, even though you're fatigued. There are no more fights this month, so you can spend the rest of the month resting. And we're up against Amenzu, who's not that strong. Stamina, again, better, probably better than Tanza's. Agility's the same. Tanza's reflexes are better. Dexterity is better. And health is better. So you know what? I'm going to be fighting. And spare life. No. Okay. So we're going to skip. And Tanza has won! Now, this is a really, really good start. Oh, and Tanza got injured. Tanza got injured. Okay, Tanza is injured for 9 days. What happened to Tanza? Let's go to his history. He's injured. He's sprained his ankle. Oh, you poor baby. You poor baby with your sprained ankle. Okay, so we're going to go into history. For those of you guys who don't follow World of Tanks, Tanza, Beyond D, and Bringy are regular platoon mates. That's why I'm having fun with them. Okay, moving on. So this is basically what you do. At the moment, market, new merchandise arrived yesterday, so I could buy new weapons. The thing is, I have no fighters to use them on, so this Gladius looks quite good, actually. 86, you know what, we might need a second Gladius and a second Pugio, because they're good weapons. You know, you might as well stock up on weapons. Because two of my fighters need Pugios, and we come back to the stable. Everyone is injured. I can't recruit new fighters. What about staff? Are there any new staff available? Hire staff? No new staff. New staff available for hire in 19 days. That's a huge, huge amount of time to go, so no new staff I can hire. We come to office. That's it. Intern. There's nothing else I can do this month, unless something pops up. And it's the end of the month, and there is nothing scheduled for the first 5 days of this month, and then there's a massive fight on March 20th, but I don't know if any of my guys are going to be fit. So before we do anything, let's head into Recruit and see if there are new fighters. There are new fighters every 15 days. So we take a look here, and we've got a guy who's got good dexterity, good reflexes, terrible intelligence, average agility, terrible stamina, and good strength. So he's 28 though, he's young. The average age of a gladiator was around 27. Very few gladiators made it past the age of 30. I mean, there's recorded cases of one gladiator living to be the age of 95, but most gladiators didn't live beyond 30. The average age of a gladiator was 27. So any of these guys who have decent dexterity but good stats elsewhere, nothing. Oh, this is awful. This is awful. So what I might want to do is I want to hire staff. You know what? I'm going to hire this guy. I'm going to hire all of these guys because I'm desperate for fighters, and then I'm going to fire them once I've checked out their fighters. So this guy Dexterity, intelligence, terrible, everything else. Terrible. Terrible. Okay, so he gets fired. This guy, he's got dexterity, reflexes, stamina, strength. He's got average, he's got... Oh, this guy. This guy's definitely being hired. Ducius, welcome. We're hiring this guy, and we're getting rid of AACDD. No, nothing worth there. And last guy, terrible network, only got 3 fighters, and these are all terrible. These are all terrible. So we're going to go into staff. We're going to fire. Bad network guy, and bad network guy, just to save some money. Okay, and we've got 1 new fighter on the way. He's in transit. All my guys are still injured or fatigued or both. This guy's still in transit, and he uses a Sika, and I didn't buy a Sika. So let's go. We'll go into the market. Now, like I said, a Sika is a curved short sword. It's just like a Gladius, except it's curved. Do we have any Sikas? We do have 1. And that's it. Okay, so that's all we could do. So we'll come into the office. We'll intern. Now, actually, have we earned any perks? Wins towards next... I need to win 10 fights before I get my first perk. So let's go. Fight schedule, massive, but I don't have anyone. I don't have anyone who can enter except Ducius, who has just arrived and who's healthy. But this is a massive fight, and that means that the enemy trainers are going to be sending their best guys in there. Let's take a look before just checking. Labio, let's view. Who's his best fighter? His best fighter. All his fighters are terrible. Okay. And let's take a look at Labio. Labio is actually a very, very good fighter. You know what? Let's give him a sicko. We're actually going to send him straight in. He's just arrived. He's gotten off the cart. And we're going to send this guy in. So we're going to take on Labio because Labio has no good fighters left. Oh, Bringy has recovered from fatigue just in time to fight. But we've already decided we're sending Ducius in here. So we're going to select Ducius. Yeah. He's got his weapon. I did give him his weapon. I can't remember. Apparently, Ducius' greed level is high. He's just like flaming Bringy. And that's it. Okay. So, any side bets? Let's bet. I don't want to bet the house, but let's bet half my purse. 25,000. Okay. And spare life. No, we're not going to bother. So, my new fighter. I can only have a maximum of 5 fighters in my stable because I haven't increased the size of it. But it looks like this is going to be a very, very easy win versus Poplicola. Okay, obviously a precursor to Pepsi Cola. Now they're just swinging and missing at each other like, as I say, 2 old ladies with pillows. Okay, so there we go. It's over. Review, finish, and I've managed to kill him. The losing fighter was violently garroted to death after a brief struggle. Okay, alright, let's leave. Unfortunately, Ducius got himself injured in that particular fight, so let's take a look here. He broke his toe. Oh, you poor baby. Alright, so let's go back to stable. Bringy is now healthy. You can see that my guys are ecstatic and enthused. Winning means very, very good morale. So I don't need to upgrade my food. I don't need to upgrade my bed or my shelter. That increases morale, but at the moment we're winning and everyone is happy, but things could go wrong so quickly. And that's the thing about this game. So let's come into the office. Nothing else happening just yet. Let's intern. And you heard something going on in the background, sort of a fanfare of some sort. So what's happened? You spent this much money on my daily. A staff member needs attribute points assigned. So not only can you upgrade your fighters, which hasn't happened yet, but you can upgrade your staff. So when I click on staff, you can see that basically my staff have an arrow beside their names, and that means they can be upgraded. So as I say, because I'm an ex-scout, that's the profession I chose before becoming a gladiator school owner, I can pretty much see what the scouts are like, or what the fighters are like. So evaluation is not important. I can upgrade the network, and the network means that this guy might get an extra fighter. I can get his network up to 1,000. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be increasing this guy's network up to 1,000, so he gives me more fighters to choose from. The trainer, we're going to upgrade this guy's training to 516, and the doctor, I've got a lot of guys injured at the moment, so let's get the doctor up here to let's increase the doctor's skills. So at the moment, my stable, I've got no one I can actually recruit. Now you can also see two other choices here. I can free them or I can execute them. So let's take a look at Bringy, and we can view Bringy, and what you can see is he has only fought one fight. He's got a record of 1-0, but he earned 12,000 denarii from that fight. Now suppose I was a cruel bugger and I was really, really desperately short of money. I'm not, but if I was really, really desperately short of money, what I could do is I could execute Bringy, and that 12,000 denarii would be mine. But as is, we've got one fighter ready for a fight, and we're going to go into end turn, and Bringy is ready. This is mild, so enemy bosses will usually assign, as I say, their best fighters to the biggest hyped matches. That would be massive. So this would be the best enemy fighters. Mild would be their average fighters. So we're going to enter anyway, because it's unlikely I'm going to meet one of their tough guys. And we might as well just continue working on Labio, because we've killed his best guys. We're going to send Bringy in. No, I forgot to give Bringy a weapon. He's got no weapon, but we're going to bet everything. And Bringy is greedy, so he's going to take 30% of this purse, but we're going to bet as big a side purse as we can, and Bringy's going to be fighting barehanded. So we're going to fight, and he's going to be taking on Nata, who looks absolutely terrible, and we're going to skip that. And the losing fighter was violently garroted to death after a brief struggle. Okay, alright. Now, this is not entirely accurate, because what happened was, usually gladiators who lost a fight, they were actually stabbed through the neck, down through past their collarbone and into the heart. So, yeah, I don't know about this garroting thing. I haven't read anything about that in the history of gladiators that I've read anyway, or at least the history I've read. But in the meantime, what you can see is that Bringy won his second fight, and as a result, he is now increased to level 2. So we view Bringy, and we can see that he won a fight barehanded as well. Oh, yeah, good guy. And his expertise now has a exclamation mark. So we go into expertise, and what we can do is we can increase his skills. So one of the most important skills you can give them is the ability, or their dexterity, because dexterity means that they are they're more likely to land a hit on an enemy. But there's no dexterity here. So what we're going to do is maybe start off with, we don't want to train him in a second weapon. He's already trained in one weapon. There's no point in training him in another. There's no point in training in armor, because I've got no armor at the moment. I don't really want to buy armor. Special talents require 10 points each, so I could collect 10 points up here. That means Bringy would need to go up 10 levels before being able to get a special talent. But I think what we're just going to do is we're going to give, let's just improve his quickness, which is going to affect his stamina. His deafness or his quickness? Let's go with deafness. So we're going to put 1 point in deafness. And that's pretty much it. So now we've got his actual physical points. So we've got level 2, we've got 5 skill points we can spend. Bringy is almost, he needs another roughly 2,000 XP before he gets up to the next level. But we've got 5 points we can spend, and what we're going to spend these on are probably... his reflexes are absolutely terrible, so we're going to get that up to 15. We've got 1 point left, and we'll spend it in dexterity, get it to 58. Okay, so we need to work on Bringy's reflexes, but he's been doing okay. You've been doing okay, Bringy. Alright, moving on. Everyone is fatigued or injured for quite some time, so that's pretty much all we can do. We'll end turn. This is a low fight, but everyone's fatigued or injured. This is a massive fight. A huge amount of money is on the line, but everyone's fatigued or injured. Let's go. We've got another massive fight here. And Odysseus is almost ready, but not quite. And there's also a fight tomorrow. So we're going to end turn. We're skipping all these fights. If I had a bigger stable, more fighters, then I'd be able to throw these guys in. But we're going to enter. Odysseus should be healthy now. He is. We're going to enter Odysseus. We're going to take on Labio because we want to kill that gladiator school. We're going to select Ducius, and yeah, his morale is going to decrease. Oh, I forgot Ducius is incredibly greedy. Alright, we're going to continue, and we're going to fight. We're going to skip, and Ducius has emerged. Losing fighters violently choked to death on the sand. Okay. Odysseus is now fatigued for 7 days, but we won money. We're up to 85,000, so we don't win as much if it's not a massive or a strong fight, and that's pretty much it for the month. So we're going to end and move on to the next month. Now, you'll notice I haven't saved yet. I'll get to saving in a little while, but going to take a look here. Now, one way of moving from one region to another is you have to beat all the bosses in a certain level. So I would need to kill all of Labio's fighters, I would need to kill all of Asina's fighters, and I would need to kill most of Blas's fighters in order to advance onto the next level. So we're going to continue working on this guy at least until he's defeated, and I think you're getting the idea of this game. Now, I was hoping that random events would pop up, because that's another thing that's set up here. Sponsorship is something you could do, but you don't really need to worry about that till later on in the game when you have a lot of money, because what that means is there's a random number of games per month. Sometimes there might only be 1 or 2 games a month, which is not good if you're running out of money. Sometimes there are a huge number of games per month. So you can sponsor an event in 1 month so that the following month has a larger chance of having more events. That's pretty much what this means. Okay, so we've got 1 fight, it's mild. And we've got 1 healthy fighter, Tanza. Tanza is back up. There's new weapons. Very good weapons here, but I don't need any weapons at the moment. Don't need any armor. Stable, let's take a look. Oh, Tanza has upgraded. Staff, higher staff, no. Recruit, it's the end of the month. New fighters in 18 days. So, do we have any fighters we want to add to our stable? We've got 4 fighters at the moment, but I don't like the look of any of these guys. And because I'm an ex-gladiator, that's the profession I chose before starting the game, these are accurate. Now, if I'd chosen another profession, I'd be relying on what my scout was telling me, and some of these would not be accurate. I mean, this might be a B here, but if I wasn't an ex-scout myself and I trusted my own scouts, this might, when I hire this person, this might actually turn into a D. So you can't really trust your scouts unless their skills are very, very high. Okay, so no fighters to hire, no nothing to hire. Stable, Tanza is ready to level up, so we're going to view him. Expertise, we're going to increase his deafness as well. He's got 5 skill points just like Bringy did, so we'll increase his... Oh, his stamina is terrible. Let's increase it all in stamina. And there we go. We go to office, enter, select. We're going to go with Tanza. And we're going to... Oh, he's greedy, isn't he? Ah. So we're going to be losing 40%, but we're going to make a huge side bet. And he's taken out Haruf Wolf. Okay, but he's fatigued for 7 days. There's the downside. Now, oh no, here we go with sickness. So Bringy I thought was ready to come back. Bringy was ready to come back. He's only fatigued for 2 days, but now he's sick. Bringy is sick for 9 days, and so is Ducius. So really, Beyond D is the only fighter who's even close to fighting. He's still injured, but he's going to be out for 3 days. Okay, let's go. So win. There's a fight scheduled for today, but no, Beyond is still out for 1 day. So I could send Beyond in, even though he's only injured for 1 day, but I'm not going to bother because there's another fight in another day. So we're going to end turn. We're going to enter this fight, and we're going to send Beyond. Go Beyond. Your morale will not change, so I don't have to pay you any extra. I'm going to bet 9,000 denarii on you, Beyond. You better do me proud. We're not going to spare life because I want... Oh, and he's up against Pizzo, who's the strongest fighter on the enemy team. I thought I'd killed him. Okay, oh, Beyond, please don't let me down. Please don't let me down. He took him out. Okay, Beyond really is a bloodthirsty fighter. The crowd is bloodthirsty. Losing fighter is executed. Okay, so next guy is going to be available in 3 days. That's Tanza. Bringy is still sick. Ducius is still sick. Actually, what am I doing with Ducius? Let's go to stable, view, my other regular platoon mate is Ram. Okay, Ram, congratulations. Welcome to my Gladiator stable. Okay, so here we go. Alright, office. That's it. We can do pretty much nothing else. Next fight isn't until April 12th, but that's fine because it gives my guys plenty of time to recover. And a staff member needs attribute points assigned. So while we were doing all that, my staff upgraded. So let's go. Let's increase this guy's network. Let's increase his training and let's increase his injury. Okay, hire staff. Any new staff here? New staff available 18 days. So this guy has got, we've got 3 scouts here with huge networks. We're going to only hire 1 though, because the biggest mistake you can be or do is expand too fast, too quickly. Okay, so trainer, yeah, I'm not liking any of the trainers. We've got another very, very good doctor, but I already have a very good doctor on site. And blacksmiths, none of these guys. What we're looking for is someone with 400 in both. And as I say, I've already got a very good doctor and no very, very good blacksmiths. This guy, very good at armor, terrible at weapons, so we're going to leave the blacksmith alone. That means my weapons will degrade faster. But we've got 3 healthy fighters and no fighters to choose from. Oh, hang on, we hired some new scouts. So any of these guys in their network's worth picking up. So at the moment we're at 5. This guy is not bad. Although he's 39, he's past his prime, so he will not train up as well as others. This guy is past his prime as well, but he's got decent stats. Otherwise, he won't train up as well as others. So you got to keep an eye on their age as well. So what you want is a young whippersnapper who's got very, very good stats. So that's pretty much it. Okay, we're done. So let's take a look at my stable. Oh, Ram is ready. Ram is ready to level up. So what we'll do is we will... Oh yeah, we're working on deafness for all my fighters. This is just an experiment, guys. And Ram's stats look very, very good, in fact. We've got 5 points to spend, so we might as well spend them. I'll spend 1 on dexterity. And we'll get his agility up to 32. Okay, there we go. So each of these stats have a different effect. So strength contributes to damage upon successfully hitting an opponent. The stronger you are, the more damage you do when you hit them. Stamina, energy while fighting, also governs recovery time from fatigue. So the more stamina you have, the less time it takes you to recover after fights. Agility, chance of successfully dodging an incoming attack. That's why agility is so important. Reflexes determines the chance of blocking an incoming attack. So that's why agility and reflexes are important. Dexterity, chance of successfully hitting an opponent during battle. So these are really important stats, as well as strength and of course health. Okay, so moving on. I don't think... Oh, we've got a fight today, so let's enter. This guy has got 5 fighters again. He's back up to 5 fighters, so we're going to send... Let's send... Bringy's greedy. Tanza's greedy. Beyond D is not greedy, but he's still recovering, so let's send Ram in again. So all my fighters are greedy. I'm losing so much money, and as this is low, you can see that the prize purse and the betting purse are very, very small because it's a very, very small fight. So we're taking Ram up against Scava, and we're gonna fight. We're gonna skip, and we took him out. Okay, so office. 1 more fight. As you can see, there were only 4 fights. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, there were only 5 fights this month, but I was only able to fight in 4. Let's go. Enter. This guy's down to 4 fighters. We'll send Bringy, who's my only fit fighter, in. No, well, Bringy doesn't have a weapon, does he? Let me just check again. Bringy. Use a Pugio. Oh, we bought some new Pugios, didn't we? So let's give Bringy a Pugio. Or Pugio. And then we go. We're going to enter. Select. Yeah. Bringy's going to fight. His morale will decrease by 10, but I don't care. Let's bet everything on Bringy. And there we go. Oh, a life is spared. No, crowd is impressed by the losing fighter. No, I don't want the crowd to be impressed by the losing fighter. I want to get rid of my enemies as quickly as possible so that we can finish off a boss. But Yeah, okay. Moving on. There's so much in this game that I haven't had a chance to show you because it is, a lot of this is so RNG dependent, and missions can pop up, as I say, just to rob a stagecoach or sponsor a marathon running team or try and capture a legendary weapon or help an enemy fighter escape from a stable, or there's so many other things that can happen, but they're not popping up, they're randomized. We've got a fight today, it's an average fight, and we've only got one healthy fighter who is beyond D. Bringy has leveled up, but we'll get back to that in a moment. Enter. He's still got 4 fighters. Beyond D, you've killed everyone you have faced so far, so I want to wipe this guy out. We're going to bet 21,000 denarii on you, Beyond. Do me proud. There we go. Okay. So, congratulations. Let's go to Bringy. Let's upgrade Bringy. We'll go upgrade his stamina. We've got 5 more points to spend, so we'll spend that in dexterity and reflexes. Okay. Alright. We've got 3 fights coming up in close succession, but we've got guys who are coming back, so we'll enter and enter, and this is only going to be a low fight, so we will send in Ram, who's the only healthy guy. We'll bet as much money as we can on this one, which isn't very much because it's only a low fighter. And crippled fighter, crowd roared. I can't believe I haven't lost a fight yet, guys. This is very unusual. This is very, very unusual. Let's enter. We'll enter. Well, hang on. Before I enter, who's available to fight? Ram. Oh, Ram again. Ram again. Okay. Because he didn't get fatigued from the last one. So, let's go. We'll bet as much as we can. You're greedy, Ram. You are greedy. And losing fighter is executed. We're getting there. We are getting there. These 2 guys have leveled up. Let's expertise. 5 points to spend. Let's spend them in dexterity. And this guy, Ram, congratulations. Let's put them in deafness. 5 points to spend. Let's spend them in agility. And that's it. Okay, so is that it? Stable. Office. End turn. End turn. End turn. Let's take a look at the bosses. So this guy, Labio, only has 1 fighter left. Now, something that is missing, you'll notice, is the ability to have multiple gladiators involved in the same event. It's very, very limiting, and I find that sometimes it's better to have a very, very small stable of fighters, maybe 5 or 6 fighters, rather than having a huge stable that costs a huge amount of wages. It would be very, very interesting. The losing fighter gasps for air. Spelling mistake! For air through an opened throat before dying. Oh dear. Okay. Oh, I forgot to show you this. Okay, so we have won. Ram has won. So something else you need to do is you need to keep an eye on your stable and the condition. At the moment, the condition of the stable is only 47. This will lose, just like your weapons and armor that deteriorate over time. Your school deteriorates over time. You need to actually repair it. So now it's back up to 100%, and that means my security has improved and my morale has improved. Okay, so we'll come to the office bosses, and we can see now that we've put Labio out of business. Ha ha. The plan is, or the idea is, you've got to put all the bosses out of business before being allowed to move on to the next area on the map, which would be Lepnis Magna. Yeah, this is Age of Gladiators. There's a lot more to this game. I will continue playing and bring this to you in another video, but this is just an introduction to the game. I really, really think this game has a lot of potential. I am so interested in the period of history. I mean, there's so much that can be added to the game. Most gladiators were slaves. They were condemned criminals. They were captured soldiers. Some were volunteers, but only the poor were basically allowed to volunteer, because the poor would volunteer to be gladiators, hoping to improve their social standing and wealth by fighting in the arena. But by fighting in the arena and improving their social standing still didn't mean they got citizenship. They were still looked down upon. So really about the only thing the poor could do was fight in the arenas in order to gain wealth. And even then, sometimes their money was stolen by the gladiator school they signed on to, although there is plenty of examples of gladiators being able to keep a family, wife, kids on the outside and be able to support them through their fighting. But there were also a lot of gladiators were citizens that were stripped of their rank. So Roman citizens strictly weren't allowed to be gladiators because gladiators were restricted to the lowest class or lowest classes, the slave classes, the poor, non-citizens. But Roman citizens, it was possible for them to be gladiators because sometimes what happened was they got their citizenship stripped from them for maybe falling into debt or arrears, or maybe they just fell foul of the wrong person. If they were stripped of citizenship, they were sold into slavery, and quite often a citizen who was sold into slavery was pretty much immediately thrown into the arena. Sometimes just as cannon fodder as opposed to a gladiator, but if they showed promise, maybe they would be recruited as a gladiator. And the origin of the gladiators is unknown, but evidence points to its existence prior to 300 BC, and the gladiator games continued until around 600 AD. The reason the Colosseum and the gladiators were stopped was because Christianity was adopted as the religion of the Roman Empire. So it existed, as I say, for over 1,000 years. And just to give you an idea of how popular the gladiators were, in 65 BC, this is the time period that this game started out at. If we remember looking at the office and we looked at the calendar, it was 65 BC. Yeah, 65 BC. In 65 BC, laws were put in place to limit the number of gladiators that a Roman citizen could own. The maximum number of gladiators a Roman citizen could own was, believe it or not, 640. So every citizen could own up to 640 gladiators. That's how popular the sport was in 60 BC. Citizens sponsored games to increase their popularity. Politicians sponsored games just before elections. A lot of huge games, gladiatorial games, were held just before politics or elections, so that politicians could curry favor with the crowd. Women, the latest update to this game introduced women. Now, women, I haven't seen any, actually. I haven't seen any women in the... It's not changed. Oh, that's the Scouts picture. It's not the... Oh, hang on. It does say. Here it says female weapon speciality Facina. So it's giving me the weapon speciality before I pick Nerva male. We've got one female I can choose from here. Yeah, female gladiators, even though not a lot is heard about them. I don't really want to hire this female because she's 42 and she's past her peak, but first female gladiators appeared around 60 AD, but the Romans were really, really careful because gladiators, as I say, were only allowed to be the lowest class in the arena. No citizens could be gladiators, and when women started appearing in the arena around 60 AD, there were a lot of checks and double checks to make sure that the women were indeed the lowest class the women could possibly be in order to be allowed to compete. The first women who appeared in the gladiators in the arena were actually Ethiopian slaves, but it basically extended into the poor. And women remained as gladiators, even though it's not featured in most movies, or it's not featured in Gladiator the movie. But women did feature as gladiators for up to 120 years. So between 60 AD, from 60 AD, women were still fighting in the arena up to 120 years later. In 2000 or in 200 AD, or more than 200 years, 120 years later. I'm not doing my math correctly. So women were fighting for 260 years. Women were involved in the arena. In 200 AD, women gladiators were banned. Mainly down to Roman morality. First of all, they felt that women should only be able to fight in the arena if they were the lowest classes, and then finally decided, maybe women fighting in the arena is just bad. So that's pretty much it. Yeah, women were gladiators, and it is featured in this game. Let's just hire her just to see the image. I don't really want to hire this person, but Oh, there's the first female gladiator image. So this is an update. I have not seen this before, but female gladiators were added in the latest update. As I say, this game is being updated so quickly and so frequently. It is quite impressive. The earliest known Roman amphitheater was built in Pompeii around 70 BC. So 70 BC is when the first major amphitheater was actually built for gladiatorial games. Now, it was in Pompeii, and I have actually been there. I've actually walked around that particular amphitheater, and I have to say, standing in the center of that arena, it's really, when you close your eyes, I mean, it was a cold day. The wind was freezing, freezing cold wind, but you could stand in the middle of that arena, close your eyes, and you could almost imagine that scene from Russell Crowe's Gladiator, where he walks into the arena and does a spin. The camera does a spin around the crowd, shouting from all sides. It's a much smaller venue, obviously, but it does have this feeling, you're standing on hallowed ground, you're standing on ground where people fought to the death for the amusement of others in Pompeii, and I've just been so lucky to have had the opportunity to be there. As I told you, I'm into gladiators. I've been into this period of history for a long time. The average lifespan, I already mentioned, the average lifespan of a gladiator was around 30. So the fact that we've got guys here who are... It's not showing me the age here. It's not showing me the age. But when we take a look at the age here, and we see a lot of fighters over 30 years of age, that's a little bit unrealistic. The average age for a gladiator was around 27. Most gladiators never live longer than 10 fights. 10 fights seems to be the maximum. There's recorded history of some gladiators winning up to 150 bouts, but most gladiators never live past 10 fights, and most gladiators never live past the age of 30. Most gladiators only fought about 3 times a year. So in this game, I'm sending these guys into the arena maybe 3 times a month, but in real life, most gladiators only fought about 3 times a year. But as I say, some have been recorded as having 150 fights throughout their career. At its peak, there were estimated to be around 400 arenas throughout. Did I say 4,000 earlier on? I can't remember. But at its peak, there were around 400 gladiator arenas around the Roman Empire. And believe it or not, there were roughly, and this is how popular the sport was, there were 8,000 gladiatorial deaths every year. 8,000 gladiatorial deaths every year. So for 1,000 years, gladiators fought in the arena at an average of 8,000 deaths a year. That's a lot of people when the world's population was a lot smaller, but that is just how popular gladiators and gladiator schools were. It was the football, it was the MMA, it was the boxing of that time period. And this game encapsulates it. This is a one-man development team, guys. One-man development team. It is an amazing game. It's got a lot of possibilities. It's got a lot of potential. There's so much that can be done. As I say, you could be adding in. You can add in so many more gladiator weapons. You could add in armor as shields. You could add in shields as armor. There were so many gladiator shields. When we take a look at the office and we take a look at the... is it the journal? No, it's not the journal. It's not the ledger. Mail. Okay, here we go. I haven't checked my mail in quite some time. But yeah, I'm forgetting to check my mail. Here we go. This is something incredible. To watch Bringy defeat Nada barehanded was incredible and entertaining spectacle indeed. Signed a fan. You get fan mail. Recent news. The Roman Senate has passed the Lex Papia. I can't even pronounce this. Challenging false claims of citizenship and expelling foreigners from Rome. Exceptions will, of course, be made for gladiators. Now, as I say, expelling false claims of citizenship. A lot of people were stripped of their citizenship as punishment for various perceived crimes, or maybe they were just an enemy of whoever happened to be in power. Once they got stripped of citizenship, they automatically became the lowest class in Rome, and were thrown into the arena or put on the slave block. So that's where a lot of slaves or a lot of arena contestants came from. Too slow. I recruited a fine fighter yesterday. Perhaps you didn't notice, or perhaps you were too slow. It does not matter. I look forward to watching my new acquisition gorily slay your gladiators in the arena. Well, it would have been nice if you gave me that guy's name. So Blasis recruited someone before I could, apparently. That's annoying, but maybe he's just trying to wind me up. So the you can communicate, you can deal with other bosses. Perks. your fighters are not the only ones who can improve over time. You can as well. You have gained your first perk point. I haven't been keeping an eye on my mail. I need to look at this. So perks, we come into perks. Available points 1. So perks are really, really important. Perks are really, really important. There's lots of different perks. Opportunity trigger chance. These are the things, like I said, being able to sponsor a marathon team or go on a raid and steal money from enemy Gladiators owners, or free enemy gladiators, or possibly go on a quest for a legendary weapon. You can increase the chance of those things happening if you put a perk in here. You can also increase the chance of one of those things being a success by putting a point in here. You can increase your gladiator starting level. They could start at level 1 instead of level 0. You could gladiator health bonus, adds bonus health points to each new gladiator you recruit, not the ones you have, but new gladiators. And then you've got gladiators retire. It prevents gladiators from wanting to retire. A gladiator can come to you and say, listen, I'm done, man. I'm sorry. I'm too tired. I'm too injured. This crushed kidney that I picked up in the first fight for you, it's coming back to haunt me. I've been fighting for over a year. I want to retire. I'm 48 years old or whatever. You can prevent them from retiring or wanting to retire by keeping them happy and putting a check mark in here. You can reduce their fatigue. You know, you saw some of my guys, being fatigued for up to 11 days. You can reduce that fatigue by putting a perk in here. You can put moral loss removal bet on enemies. This means that you can bet on enemies that your guys are going to die and the rest of your fighters aren't going to lose morale. Or you can put it on purse sharing. So in other words, I said I've got quite a lot of greedy guys are fighting for me at the moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually, I'm going to spend my perk on this one because Bringy, Beyond is the only reasonable fighter I have. Ram, Bringy, and Tonza are all greedy buggers, so they're all taking too much of my fight person. I'm not earning enough denarii, so what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to put a check mark in here. But you've also got reputation boost, which sets your reputation to the highest possible amount. Your reputation is here. The more reputation you have, the famous you get, the more famous your fighters are. But really, other than that, I'm not quite sure what effects reputation have on the rest of the game. You can increase the size of the purse. You can increase the size of the betting pool. So those are the next perks I'll be doing to get more money from fights. You can increase the damage stat of all weapons. So the damage of the weapons you buy increases. You can durable equipment. You can decrease the decay of your equipment, your weapons, and your armor by putting perks in here. So perks are really, really important. So I need to win 5 more fights in order to get my next perk, and you can only have a maximum of 50 perks, and each perk costs 5,000 denarii, so it's not even cheap to put perks in. But anyway, moving on. Undefeated. 10 wins and still undefeated. This is very unusual for me, guys, but probably because I've had a little bit of experience. I didn't save once. Fan letter, more fans. Watching your fighters in the arena is really a treat. Well, you're welcome, Casso, your fan. Paltry purses. We understand that when times are tough, you may be unable to share much of the fight purse, but be assured that we will be much more willing to fight in the arenas if we are fairly compensated. Please consider our morale. Signed, Bringy. What? Bridgie, you take 40% of my purse anyway! Oh, no, I'm not going to give you more than 40%. I told you Bridgie was greedy. Good reputation. I see that you've made decisions that have left you accepted by the community. Now, one thing is, if you start running out of money, not only can you not pay your fighters, not only can you not pay your staff and they leave you, but your reputation also starts to fall. Equipment, fighters, and staff will... Oh, here it is. Equipment, fighters, and staff will all be cheaper to acquire as consequence. So if you've got good reputation, weapons are cheaper, armor is cheaper, hiring staff is cheaper, hiring fighters is cheaper. If your reputation is bad, then these things will obviously become more expensive. Stable disrepair. The elements have done a number on your stable over time. I've already repaired that. You saw that. Crippled. What shame! Labio sent his crippled fighter into the arena to die. We may never know the reason for such a travesty. Some speculate it was done out of spite towards his fighter, while others insist it was a scam of sorts. No matter, it was a true act of evil. So Labio sent his last fighter, who was crippled, into the arena. Maybe that's why Pizzo didn't make an appearance for quite some time. So one of my guys killed a crippled fighter. Do I feel guilty? I have no idea. I have no idea. I'll have to think about that. This is an amazing game, guys. It really is an amazing game. It has got a lot of replayability. It's got a lot of potential. I love where this game could go. We're going to save that. Now, there is only one save, so what I've actually just done by accident is save over my previous saves, and I'm... Okay, so that is one thing. That is one thing that could be improved. It's only got one save, so you can only play one game at a time. So take a look at this. Listen to this music, guys. Although it's probably a good thing I didn't have this music playing because it might have put you off from the other gameplay. But yeah, it's got awesome music. The soundtrack to this game is awesome. It's just a really, really good game, guys. And I will be bringing at least one more video on Age of Gladiators as I continue this particular playthrough. Because I'm going to have to announce winners. Yes, there are going to be winners because the developer has kindly given me 4 keys. The one-man developer of Creative Storm Entertainment has kindly given me 4 keys to give out to you guys. And what I want you to do to win those keys, if you're interested in this game, it's a game that you can pick up on Steam. Even if you don't win, you can pick it up on Steam for $9.99 right now. It was released earlier this year. If you want to win one of those keys, what I'd like you to do is I want you to leave a comment in the video below. What do you like about this game? Just let me know what you like about this game. Let me know if there are any areas that you would like to see improved, or if I didn't explain well enough, or you'd like more information. Leave a comment and you'll be in with a chance of winning a copy of this game. I've got 4 keys, courtesy of the developer, to give away. Way too kind of him. And I hope you've enjoyed watching. This has been Discover Age of Gladiators. It's one of the games I'm currently playing on Steam. It's one of the games I'm currently having a lot of fun playing. It's a management simulator game. You are the host, or you are the head or owner of a gladiator school. And come on, how many games on Steam allow you to run your own gladiator school? Really interesting period of history. Really interesting time. Really interesting game. I can't recommend it enough. Leave a comment if you want to win a key. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.